In 1908, the landmark Supreme Court decision Mueller v. Oregon allowed women to be provided with special treatment in the workplace. They were also given less working hours than men. This would later be overturned by the Supreme Court's decision in Atkins v. Children's Hospital. The women's rights movement continued during the late 1920s, beginning with the first woman elected into Congress in 1916.
In the same year, Margaret Sanger, an activist for birth control, established the first birth control clinic in the United States and suffered countless arrests for distributing information on contraception illegally.
In 1918, Margaret Sanger gave women a voice through her birth control campaign. She is known for founding the American Birth Control League in 1921, also known as Planned Parenthood.
During World War I, over 1 million women entered the workforce. Their support for relief and war industry efforts led to the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920.
Because of the war, many women halted their activism between 1917 and 1919. But finally, in 1920, the women got what they were fighting for.
The 19th Amendment stated that the states and the federal government cannot deny the right to vote to citizens on the basis of sex.
The 1920s isolationist culture included more freedom for women. These women, often called flappers, were distinguished by their low-cut, form-fitting dresses, which were shorter, made to show off their ankles. In addition, they adopted a new hairstyle of much shorter hair.
Frances Perkins became the first woman to hold a cabinet member position under President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. She was the Secretary of Labor during the New Deal.
Mary McLeod Bethune was the highest-ranking African American in the Roosevelt administration. She was the leader of the Office of Minority Affairs and was the unofficial leader of the Black Cabinet. The Black Cabinet was created to bring the New Deal ideas and benefits to both African Americans and the whites. During World War II, women worked in factories and shipyards, taking on new jobs by replacing male workers who joined the military. 6 million women entered the workforce, and 19 million women made up the workforce in World War II. Rosie the Riveter became the symbol for strong, capable women with her slogan, "We can do it."
The Equal Pay Act was signed by President John F. Kennedy, which aimed to abolish the wage gap between men and women. This act is still in use today, and women are still fighting for equal pay today. Betty Friedan is a well-known author writing the book The Feminine Mystique, published in 1963. This book was inspiring to many women and led to the second wave feminism movement. Friedan started the movement with surveys asking women what their feelings were for their household positions in the family.
The Equal Rights Amendment passed in 1972 declared full constitutional equality for women. However, the amendment never became part of the Constitution.
Title IX of the Education Amendments was passed in 1972, prohibiting sex discrimination in any federally assisted educational program or activity. This created opportunities in female sports in schools, including giving out the same amount of athletic scholarships for men and women. This also helped to professionalize women's sports. Roe v. Wade was a landmark Supreme Court case that banned states from banning abortion. It gave women the right to choose by clearly stating the right to privacy. This led to a major pro-life movement still continued today. Sandra Day O'Connor was the first female Supreme Court justice. She was appointed in 1981 by President Ronald Reagan and held her position all the way until 2005. She was the first of many other women to become Supreme Court justices.
Dr. Sally Kristen Ride became the first American woman to be sent into space when she flew on the second Challenger mission on June 18, 1983.
In Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania v. Casey in 1992, the ideas of abortion were challenged. In 2007, Nancy Pelosi became the first female Speaker of the House. She is the highest-ranking elected woman in the United States history. Sarah Palin was the 9th governor of Alaska. She became the first woman to run for vice president on the Republican ticket in 2008. Malala Yousafzai is a Pakistani activist for female education and became the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014 at the age of 17. Hillary Clinton is a very important figure for women's rights. She is well known for running for president in the 2008 and 2016 elections, despite being unsuccessful in both elections. Today, she speaks out on issues like women's rights and is a symbol for women's equality in politics.
Today, there are still many movements for women's rights, such as the NOW, the National Organization for Women, the Me Too movement, and the Time's Up movement against sexual harassment.